type of vibe I'm on today. Oh shit, I lost the video. Want a video to watch in the background is this one. Nigga, I don't know you. You, Joe, is a freak. Fuck it, I'm watching this.
So, there's a show on Netflix called You, and it's a rom-com. Rom-coms are kind of cool sometimes, but this one is different. We start out with a guy in a bookstore. His name is Joe. He works there, and is also the narrator. He talks to this girl in the bookstore. It's not like an AI robot conversation at all.
This is behind you. He just grabbed Dan Brown's latest on the way in. So he's gonna wander around for another, like, 5 or 10 minutes just to find something legitimate to buy with it.
I don't like the cereal guys buy when they're really there for condoms. Only makes it more conspicuous, like, own your shit.
After work, he comes home, plays a vinyl disc, and looks up the girl. Her name is Beck. He finds all her info you would ever need. He finds out where she lives, but he wouldn't resort to stalking, would he?
There it is, with its big, naked windows.
Well, never mind. So he stalks her throughout the day, and his whole day.
Class called Get Up and Flow.
There's a problem with this though. One, why the hell Shorty just got her windows like wide open like that? Or like she ain't got no curtains, no blinds, no nothing, and she walking in front of that bitch in nothing but a towel. Like, even if you wasn't a stalker, you still go look at that bitch, you feel me?
Offering smiles and lies of encouragement. By 10, you're at campus to TA a romantics class and play Vanna White.
He finds out she's dating Benji, a guy, if you looked at, you would know his entire personality immediately.
I didn't even finish.
That's your apology? I didn't come, that's the one you're going with?
I obviously shouldn't have got in the bathroom with any girl that wasn't you. But she said she had good coke, and I've been seriously stressed.
He breaks into Beck's apartment to get to know her, of course.
I'll even do your laundry.
But he almost gets caught by Beck. Not only that, but he goes to an open mic thing, listening to Beck's poetry.
You wrote poems about...
You cringe. We cut to a drunk Beck, who falls off the edge of a subway platform. Joe, stalking her, saves her. She has one of those, oh, I know you moment. Then Joe pretends to recognize her. Joe also stole her phone. After all that bad stuff, Joe does one good thing. His neighbor, Paco, is neglected by his parents. He gives Paco a meatball sub and takes him to the bookstore to show him their basement. Okay, that sounds really bad, but it's not weird. Okay? It's cool. Later, Joe uses a trick to lure Benji in the cage in the basement, then knocks him out. Benji is alive with like a massive wound on his head. I can't believe how demanding he can be while inside a cage.
I don't eat gluten. It's an allergy, okay? That shit is real.
Man, I'm shooting this bitch ass nigga on the spot. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause fuck you mean? Oh yeah, it's an allergy? I don't eat gluten. Nigga, you gonna eat whatever the fuck I give you before I give your ass nothing.
Gluten, dairy. If I ate a peanut, I could die.
Fuck you.
Oh gosh, whatever can I get you?
Just like a bear burger, wrapped in chard. Or I could do sushi.
He insults Beck, saying she's a hoe and not worth it. Benji then recognizes Joe for when Beck almost died. Joe wasn't planning on killing Benji, but now he feels like he has no choice. Him and Beck go on a date. She has to leave because Benji hasn't come back yet and she's worried about him. Beck is out for drinks with her rich friends.
What's wrong with this bitch? The nigga ain't even all that to begin with. Nigga said, yo pussy don't make him come. Nigga said he went in the bathroom and fucked your girl because she had good coke. Your taste in men says a lot about you, Beck. I ain't gonna hold you.
She's debating on sleeping with her professor to get a good grade, and she has dinner with him.
What there is here.
So she a hoe too.
Cool. She declines his advances.
It was so sheer, I can see your nipples. Cover your tits. Stop the blowjob eyes.
Yikes, it's getting worse. Beck calls Joe after the interaction. They have a nice evening after. Joe's bookstore is having a book release. Paco runs down to the cellar to grab extra books. Joe grabs him before he can see anything downstairs, almost seeing Benji. Beck invites Joe to her friend's party. Beck leaves Joe to hang out with Peach, and he walks around not knowing anyone. Relatable. Joe did his usual and stalked her friends on Instagram. He finds the house's library and looks through the books. Peach catches him. She's suspicious on how they actually met.
On detective eyes. Well, it's lucky we did. She was on the tracks at the time.
So I heard. God, thank goodness for you.
Beck and Joe chat on the balcony. They go downstairs. A friend of Joe's ex, Candace, sees Joe. She tells Joe that she hasn't heard from Candace in a while.
It's just how she left so suddenly. I mean, we were all kind of hurt.
Joe comes back home. He apologizes to Paco for yelling at him and gives him a book. Joe wakes up. He rushes to the basement of the bookstore. He forgot about Benji. Benji tore the cellar apart. Beck blackmails her professor to stop being weird to students and being really creepy. Benji has a video of him killing his friend on accident. Joe is using it as blackmail. Beck shows up at his work. She gives him a donut. Badass. Joe comes back.
Why do you have a video of you killing your friend? Like, if you have a video, wouldn't you just, like, you know, delete that usually?
Back to Benji and gives him coffee that he's allergic to.
He's lied about so many things.
We meet with Beck and Joe on a nice walk. Jet goes to the back to see the very much dead Benji, figuring out how to deal with his body. Yeah, he doesn't really know what to do. Beck talks with a teacher or something. It's not really stated. Joe is stalking in the background like usual, and then he hears that he's a maybe.
Joe is still a maybe.
She hooked up with the guy yesterday. Even Peach was weirded out, and she hates Joe. She hooks up with another guy that night. Beck is in her writing class, hearing other—
See, look, this the problem with this nigga Joe. He doing all this shit. You know, she got a dickhead boyfriend. You over here saving her life and shit, following the bitch around, right? And your ass still a maybe, nigga. This nigga, this nigga a random bartender she met tonight, and she thinking about fucking a nigga. That's why you just gotta not try sometimes, bro. Put too much time into chasing the bitch. Your ass gonna be the one that wasted it. Literally.
other classmates' poems or something. Beck's working on her writing thing. Joe sees that her bed is broken. They go to the store together, and they make out until Joe goes too far.
What? I thought
that I wanted to get arrested for going on bush diver in public.
Joe has
This nigga trying to eat. I never seen no shit like that. This nigga a munch-tastic. Nigga wanted to eat pussy in public beside people. Yo, Joe, you a freak ass nigga. I ain't gonna hold you, but we already knew that.
the problem at the shop. He tries to deal with Benji's body, but ended up helping Beck instead. They fix her bed, they do a little stuff, until Peach shows up with an emergency. Joe drives him to the hospital, until the body in the back makes Peach hate the smell. Joe arrives back at his place, with the cops meeting him. Paco's dad saw the list Joe gave him to shop for.
Nitrate, 6 rolls of duct tape, fire starter, twine, burlap, wood stakes.
Nigga, you gave that to somebody to shop for? Nigga, why you ain't do this shit yourself? You murder a nigga and you ain't got the time to cover your tracks? Like, this don't make sense. And that nigga was still in the trunk. Why you ain't get rid of his body before then? I'm a little sick, don't mind me.
You want to explain what all this is for?
Bro, that's the most serial killer equipment ever to shop for, dude. Joe gives them a great excuse.
That's anything in here? I was just trying to keep it a bit under wraps.
And the chemicals?
They dissolve roots.
Fire starter?
I like to grill.
And the cops let him go. Joe dumps Benji's body in the forest. He's trying to burn the body when Beck calls him to come over, while at the same time Joe sees 2 people with flashlights coming to his location. He hangs up on Beck. The campers see him light the fire and he laughs it off.
You're welcome to join if you like.
Please say no. Please say no.
Beck's in class when she had a paper due.
Are we supposed to read it now? In front of you? It's kind of awkward.
Shut up. Also, this girl's the most annoying character, second to Benji. All she does is brag about stuff.
In case I should warn you, I have this facial autism thing where I can't hide what I'm thinking.
It's so annoying. Beck reschedules her paper critique. Joe is at the bookstore. Beck trauma dumps on Joe.
Okay, I'm afraid I might fail.
I'm not done!
I'm one terrible page away from confirming I'm the worst writer in history.
Joe shows her the cellar, showing off all the old books. Paco loses the book Joe gave him, and his stepdad shows up and threatens Joe. Beck booty calls him, and they end up doing it.
Well, why did this nigga threaten him for giving his son something to eat and buying him a book? Nigga, you jealous that he's being nice to your son? Like, I don't understand if it was like an everyday thing, because it's a little crazy to be taking a random man's son out to, like, do shit, especially without his permission. But you know, it was like a one or two time thing. The nigga, your son is literally sitting on the steps by himself most of the time. Like, come on now, bro.
And it lasts 10 seconds, which is a very long time. Beck tells her friends about how long Joe lasted. Okay, let's give this guy a break. She gets a text from the captain, who turns out to be Beck's dad, who, by the way, was believed to be dead from an overdose. Her dad with his new family go to a Charles Dickens costume festival. Beck hates the family, and they hate her back. Joe is confused about these texts, thinking it's some other dude she's cheating on him with. So he does the Joe thing and follows her to the festival. Peach pays a visit to the bookstore to pick up a book, and she finds out from Joe's coworker Joe is gone. Peach calls Beck to give her a tip that Joe might have followed her.
Beck, what are you doing here? I knew you were here. I wasn't happy with how we left things, and apparently neither were you.
So you're saying you did want it to last longer than 8 seconds?
Beck explains that her father isn't dead, but she decided that she...
Hold up. Because there's already like a demographic of edits I'm thinking of. Shit called You, right? I want to see some shit with the Tyler the Creator song. Shit called She, right? Give me a second. Man, like, bro. I think I watched this. Oh, here it is.
Blinds wide open so he can see you in the dark when you're sleeping. Naked body, fresh out the shower. You touch yourself after hours. Ain't no man allowed in your bedroom. You're sleeping alone in bed. You check your window. Swag. He's at your window.
Okay, that's kind of ass, low key. I was hoping for something better. Oh shit, what's this?
But that's because I'm in love with you. Cunt.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That song is like perfect in my opinion. I'm gonna watch this one though.
Golden rubbers in these denim pockets. On my waist there's a black Glock. New girl moved on the block. She been plotting on my brown cock. Last night I slept over hers. During sex I overheard. A sword sliced the air. I pulled out the nana, rolled off the bed and shot back. Pop out, blood on the sheets, probably spilling from my gash. Looked out the glass, seen him sprinting on the grass. A real ninja with the blade and the mask. Had them gold ninja stars and red supreme nunchucks. Now she tryna patch me up, but girl, I was just trying to get a nut bust. If that's your ex, you should probably own a pistol. But I'm guessing it's wiser to exit the dude.
He can't see you in the dark when you're sleeping.
Surely this wasn't made just for this though. Like this gotta be an actual show, right? Oh no, it's from Kill Bill Volume 1. I remember watching that. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Alright, let me get back to this video.
He was dead to her when she found him overdosed, and then immediately abandoned her. Joe understands Beck's lie. They have an awkward lunch with the family.
Because your father, he's just an ATM to you, right, Beck?
Please, let's not do this.
I'm sorry, and what is he to you?
Beck writes about her feelings for her schoolwork. She shows up to Joe's place and get it on. Joe doesn't last 8 seconds, mostly because he's trying to pick up the clothes he's stolen from her apartment. The next morning, Beck gives a raving review about the time in bed with Joe. Joe, being boyfriend of the year, makes breakfast and does Beck's laundry. You sure you're not the girlfriend, Joe? Alright? Joe hangs out with Beck and her friends.
Sometimes I swear I'm the only real feminist you know.
Okay, Joe. Joe hates.
Yeah, Joe. You're a great feminist, nigga. Like, you love women so much that you stalk them without their consent. I mean, you can't stalk someone with... Actually, like, I low-key want to stalk her, but she gotta be at least, like, average or a bad bitch. You feel me? Like, if she, I don't want an ugly girl that's a stalker. Even then, if she ugly, she just can't be fat. Is that crazy to say? Is that, I mean, I ain't got nothing wrong with fat people, but like, I like chubby girls. But fat? Like obese? Hell nah. Like, Shred, you got more jelly rolls on your side than I got in general. I mean, I don't got any jelly rolls, to be fair. And I don't know how it feels. Actually, 2019, I was pretty big. What am I talking about? I forgot. But yeah, she just can't be obese. I ain't gonna say fat because, you know, everybody has a little bit of fat. And people have different standards of fat. But I like my girls a little bit of chub on them, you feel me? So, like, yeah. I don't mind the little skinny things either. The skinny ones do me dirty though. Not gonna hold you.
It's them, especially Peach, who was a typical rich girl.
This is so much more fun than Girls' Night Classic.
Hold on, where's my phone at? Give me a second. Okay, I found it.
You know, when it was just us girls.
Honestly, I agree. The girls' night out should probably be a girls' night out. But what do I know? I'm sitting here in my room making a video. Joe and Peach bicker. One of Beck's friends visits the bookstore. She wants to update the bookstore's website.
If you ever wonder what it takes to become an influencer, specifically a body-positive Insta-celeb, be shameless.
You don't know how right you are, Joe. They find a picture of Peach. Peach got a nose job. Joe and Beck plan to go on a date, but the friend of Beck's has a problem. A video of her got out, and her fan base is canceling her.
I have black guys that say, like, they see me and they're like, damn, girl, you know, where are the white guys that want a girl with a big butt?
Joe goes on a run, not to be healthy, but to stalk Peach. He follows her around the day until she
hold the fuck up. Okay, I'm watching this and I'm watching like a story, while also like I'm watching somebody's story. Like I was watching Brent Fayad's story while watching this video, and that nigga said he dropping a new song October 1st. Remind me to react to that shit.
shows up at the bookstore to talk to Beck. Peach offers an agent of her own to help Beck.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Oh, you don't owe me anything, okay? Happy to.
Oh, but you do, Beck.
Joe goes home to see Paco at his usual spot. He invites him inside to have a talk. Paco's stepdad gets drunk and hits Paco's mom. Paco wants to do something, maybe even hurt his stepdad. Joe gives him an honest talk about what would actually happen.
Best case, you hurt him. Worst case, he hurts you back. Someone at school will see what he did to you. Next thing you know, CPS is at your door. You have 30 minutes to pack a bag. Your mom loses custody. You get punted from group home to group home to group home until you're 18.
Joe's bookstore is having a party for Beck's writing agent. Beck is nervous and Joe gives her a pep talk. She talks to the agent while Peach talks to Joe, and Peach and Joe insult each other until...
Okay, so it says I got 4 viewers, but I'm looking at the viewer list and I ain't got a single one that's a human. Like, I got Stream Elements, Wisebot, Owned. Fucking, that's lame.
She walks away. He stole Peach's bag looking for information he could use against her. We're gonna ignore that. Joe hears Peach talk to the agent. Peach wants the agent to turn her down. Joe talks to Beck's canceled friend. Beck and Peach show up to Joe's apartment, accusing Joe of stealing her laptop. He gaslights Peach into thinking she's being stalked. He hid her laptop at her house. He finds a folder of pictures of Beck. Peach is obsessed with her. Joe goes on a jog, stalking Peach. Beck talks to Peach's agent. He hits on her and tries to give her drugs. Yikes. Beck finds out Peach set her up. She goes to Joe's place. They talk until Peach calls and Beck finds out she's overdosing. They go to her place and help her out. She tells Joe to go home. Joe goes on another stalking jog. He finds Peach alone and hits her over the head with a rock.
Why? I took up jogging.
Paco is standing out of the apartment. He gave his dad sleeping pills. Joe saves the stepdad, and this stepdad beats Joe up. Joe visits Beck with a few stitches as well. Peach says that he was right. She's a stalker. Beck is basically a servant to Peach. She tells Joe to leave indirectly. Paco hugs and apologizes to Joe. Paco's mom talks to him as well, giving Joe brownies as a thank you. She says she's trying to help her relationship. No you're not. Beck visits the bookstore. She's going to be away for a few days with Peach. Joe is blaming Peach for all of this.
Oh, so she just attacked herself in the park?
No. No, I'm not saying that.
Good, because the whole victim blaming is starting to sound a little 4chan.
After that forced dialogue,
4chan. I don't think I've ever actually got to like experience 4chan. I only know a lot of weird shit happen over there. Is this still a website? Like, do niggas still use that shit? Know what? Yeah, let me search it up. 4chan. Oh shit. Okay. No, let's click on anime and manga. I don't get it. What are you trying to prove? That A/AA was less active back then? What the? Yo, wait, what this nigga right here talking about? Everyone knows that, but how does that help your argument? You imply you are an old F word. An old F word that pretends the site hasn't always hated N words and F words is a LARPer. Okay. Niggas can't even talk about anime no more. That's crazy. Well, this damn, Sister's Wish. I might read this. Shorty thick. And bad bitches with katanas is my favorite genre of anime. I'm gonna get off of this before I see some TOS.
Joe researched where they were going and found it. While driving there, he swerves to the left and hits a tree. He wakes up, seeing a vision of his ex-girlfriend, Candace. He's a giant gash in his head. He gets back into the car, and a cop pulls up behind him. He questions Joe, but Joe gives him a fake identity. Beck and Peach are at the same mansion, and they eat breakfast. Joe gives the cop a fake story of being beat up by a couple kids. He convinces the cop to let him go, inviting him to a fake yacht party. Joe walks to Peach's mansion, bruised and bloody. He is a vision of Candace. He tries
Will/Jeff/Nathan/Joe Goldberg. You know all this niggas' names? That's a little crazy, personally speaking. But, this nigga, does Joe Goldberg even like black women? I ain't see him go for no black woman yet this whole video.
stitching his wound, but passed out. Peach and Beck are hanging out. Joe's avoiding them like his hello neighbor. Peach heard a door shut. She's walking around the house.
Hold up. I just remembered something I gotta do. I was wondering why my chat wasn't popping up on screen. Golden rubbers in my denim pockets. On my waist there's a black Glock. New girl moved on the block. Yeah, she been plotting on my brown cock. Last night I slept over hers. During sex I overheard. A sword sliced the air. I pulled off the 9-9, rolled off the bed and shot back. Pow pow, that is ugly as shit. That's not any better. No, that's even worse. I like this one. I gotta lowercase it maybe, just to be safe. Give me a second. Alright, let me see if it worked. Here we go. Try to move this at though. There we go. Perfect. Make it a little bigger. Alright. Back to the reaction.
the gun. Beck and Peach talk about why Beck's poetry is bland and bad. Peach wants Beck to move to Paris with her. Peach, Beck, and some other dude take drugs while drinking. Peach wants Beck and Peach talk about why Beck's poetry is bland and bad. Peach wants Beck to move to Paris with her. Peach, Beck, and some...
She looked like Kimiko from The Boys in this scene right here. Yes, he got with a black woman. I think first season he was with one. Like, the thing is, this nigga, not my nigga, because that would be crazy, but this nigga could really pull bitches. He's just he could pull, but he's stalking them. He making it too obvious that he's a weirdo. Like, you could stalk him and they wouldn't know, but he's not doing that.
Some other dude take drugs while drinking. Joe is searching for Peach's gun. His paranoia is getting to him, you know, because of the concussion.
Oh, shit. Hold up. I forgot. Give me 1 second. I forgot to make it fade away. I'll put like 15. There we go. Nigga changed his name after swearing he wouldn't. Okay, but this time I swear it on my mom's life, so now I'm not doing that shit again. if I would swear some shit on my mama's life and I still did that, that would be a little crazy. Let me see if it fades away before I get off of this. How long is 15 seconds again? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, there we go.
Joe found the gun. The drugs are kicking in and kisses her. Beck texts Joe. The next morning, Beck declines Peach's invite to Paris. Peach knocks out Joe, pointing a gun at him. Peach questions Joe. She finds out that he was there for Beck. Joe brings up the files he found in her room. He blackmails her not to shoot. He gets inside her head. He runs. She shoots. He got hit in the leg, but he fights back.
Wait, is she also a stalker? What the fuck going on? I feel like I missed something. Something major.
A gunshot. He goes to Paco's mom, who stitches him up. Beck texts Joe. Peach is dead. After the funeral, Joe comforts Beck. Joe is talking to a therapist about Beck. They've been going well until Beck stopped being affectionate. The therapist asked for the good moments. We're shown very cheesy scenes.
Wow. I'm finally gonna kiss the right guy.
Joe hid Beck's other phone to start trusting her. Where did this come from? Beck started working at Joe's bookstore. She starts talking about Peach, and then she mentioned a therapist. It's the same one that Joe is seeing right now, Dr. Nikki. Wait. Joe gave a fake identity of Paul, a gay guy talking about his issues. The bookstore got a call from the cop when Joe killed Peach. He pretends to be Mooney, Joe's father-like figure. He saves it, and the cop says to have a good day. Beck was late to work. Joe's annoyed that she keeps bringing up Peach. Shut up, Beck, dude. No one cares about your dead friend that I killed.
I'm over here thinking, I'm like, damn. I mean, she bringing her up a lot, but nigga, he murdered her. So like, feel me? Same thing happened with Benji too. Like, you not noticing the signs, nigga?
I don't know why she's upset. Joe's neighbor has a friend over to scare the stepdad away with a baseball bat. Beck's friend tries to give Joe relationship advice. She wants to throw Beck a surprise party. Karen, Paco's mom's friend. She flirts with Joe a little bit. The party went bad, and Beck has
Wait, how the fuck is Paco mama black? That little nigga was white as shit. No way that was that nigga's mom.
Shown up yet.
I've tried to be the perfect boyfriend. I've bent over backwards. I gave her a job. I threw her this party. What else can I do? Beck isn't just puzzling. She's impossible. Like, where is she right now? It's selfish. It's rude, but it's Beck.
Joe?
Ooh, bad timing. Beck and Joe argue. He thinks that she's cheating on him with her therapist. She wouldn't do that. Joe is being a little more Joker-like. Beck leaves. Joe talks to Dr. Nikki, ready to kill him. But Dr. Nikki wants to talk about Joe's childhood. Joe wants to finish his story. Beck went over to Joe's house to apologize. She freaks out trying to order food.
Pizza.
Too saucy.
Thai.
We had Thai for lunch. Why do I always have to pick?
She kept getting texts throughout their time together. That's not good, Joe. She's hiding something. Joe got Beck's other phone to see the messages. He's followed her around until he's caught by Beck. Joe questions her about the text. When the session was over, Joe was ready to kill him right there and then, but decided not to. He sneaks in his room on his computer and he found audio of the conversation between her and Dr. Nikki. Joe decides he has to trust Beck back, breaking the phone he had of hers. He goes to Beck, apologizes, then walks away. They're gonna go on a break. Joe continues to talk to Dr. Nikki. He comes home and Karen and him hook up. Woo! It's been a few days since Joe and Beck broke up. Joe's with Karen now. He's happy. Or not really. Beck is doing well. Joe only stalks her on social media a few times a day.
The truth is, Beck, I don't miss you the way I thought I would. Not since Karen. I hardly look at your Facebook 2 or 3 times a day, max. This is my job now, and I love it.
Beck is meeting with her friends. Her annoying classmate is back.
Sorry I'm late, Rebecca. There was this essay in The Believer that would not let go of me.
I hate her. Joe was talking to Dr. Nikki. He actually likes talking to him. He realizes Beck was a bit toxic, and he goes back to internet stalking. Beck is also doing some internet stalking on Joe, finding out he's dating Karen. Joe, Karen, and Paco are hanging out until Paco's mom is back on the drugs. Beck sees Joe and Karen again.
Right, this is your hood.
Ooh, Beck, I don't think you should have said that. Beck made things awkward. When they walk...
What she mean by that? That's a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. You see your ex-boyfriend walk up with some black girl. He said, right, this is your hood. Nigga, she don't even look like one of them hood bitches either. Which is why that shit extra crazy in my opinion.
Walk away, Beck texts Joe. They both talk to Dr. Nikki about this. Joe is kind of cheating on Karen, with Beck being the gentleman he is. Joe helps his coworker and girlfriend move in. Beck's also there. Paco's mom is having trouble. Karen and Joe try to help her out. They take her to Joe's bookstore dungeon. Paco's mom wakes up in a cage.
She's waking up in a cage.
No. No, what are you doing to me?
I ain't gonna lie, I need me a bitch like Karen. Like, can I get an amen in the chat? Nigga, she over here helping this nigga imprison a woman. And let me guess, this nigga still end up splitting up with Shorty. Like, nigga, you can't sell a bitch like this. Shorty, she helping you commit crime, nigga. And you gonna cheat on the bitch? That's crazy. Hey, Karen, come my way. I never do that to you, baby. Bro.
Like Benji, freaked out.
No!
Anyone would. And he died in this cage. His corpse was right here. I killed him.
Well, that was a lot. Joe had a mental breakdown, and Joe watches and talks to Paco. Paco's dad comes into the bookstore, questioning Joe and where Paco's mom is. Joe sends him off his trail. Beck and Joe meet up. They end up doing it on a boat. Joe ends up mega cheating on Karen multiple times, hooking up with Beck. Joe takes Paco to his mom to show him what his mom is going through. They're at Joe's co-workers moving in together party. Joe and Beck talk. Beck regrets breaking up with Joe. Joe realizes he doesn't want to be with Karen.
It's over.
And he runs back to Beck. Get back together. Paco's dad comes back to Paco's life. Karen left. She's not helping Paco anymore. Beck sees Karen. She thanks her for showing who Joe really is. She brings up Candace. Joe's having a nightmare about Candace. Yikes. Joe and Beck have breakfast together. Beck brings up Candace. She questions Joe. Joe has a talk with Dr. Nikki, and Nikki is having his own lady problem. He talks to him about his dreams, his unfinished business with Candace. We get a flashback of her. She was in a band, and Beck's jealous. She looked her up on social media. She's talking about Joe and Candace with her friends. Beck talks to Joe's coworker about Candace as well, but he avoids talking about it with her. She's persistent. He reveals that Joe was depressed when him and Candace broke up. He tells her to let it go. We get flashbacks of Candace. He finds a guy on her phone. She meets with that guy. Joe does as usual and follows her. He finds her cheating on him. Beck does more research on Candace. She finds the girl they met at one party. She asks her about Candace. She tells her that Candace disappeared and never contacted anyone. We get another flashback. Joe finds out that the guy that kissed Candace was a producer. Joe finds the guy on the roof and confronts him. Then suddenly pushes him off the roof.
What you want? Someone want?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, this nigga Joe Goldberg or whatever this nigga name is, this nigga is like, nigga, can you choose somebody, please? Like, nigga, you stalking Beck, right? And then you eventually got back. And now you unsatisfied and you still worried about your past, stalky Candace. And you also had a girl that literally helped you do crime together, aka Karen. So like, nigga, this nigga really just need to make up his mind. But how much is this, a show or like a movie? Because if this is a show, then it really should not have this much seasons. Low key, this nigga should just get his little happy ending, if that even exists for someone like him.
Beck confronts Joe about Candace. She tells Joe about all the weird stuff that happened to Candace. Joe pulls up Candace's Instagram. She changed her name and went to Italy, proving to Beck that he's innocent. We get a flashback of Joe and Mooney. He told him about killing the guy on the roof. We cut to the present. Joe goes to Mooney's with Beck. Joe introduces Mooney to Beck. After that, Joe mugs Dr. Nikki, stealing his phone and find out that he's been calling Beck. Joe found all the evidence. Beck has been cheating on Joe with Dr. Nikki.
Okay, that's a little fucked up. I understand why this nigga crash out now. Nigga, your bitch getting fucked by your therapist? That's crazy. Nigga, I have to crash out too. But he is under the impression that you a gay nigga, because that's the personality you told him. But even then, bro, that nigga talking to your bitch. And he over there talking about some, you having girl problems, nigga. She just his sneaky link. That's crazy.
Right.
Bed I built. He's been defiling you, taking advantage of you.
Joe confronts Beck. She says yes to cheating on him.
Or were you ever fucking your therapist? Answer me. Answer me!
But they make up. She's in his apartment.
What? Bro, what is wrong with this nigga? The bitch literally just said she fucked both your and her therapist, and now you making out with the bitch after finding out? This nigga has more than just like stalking problems. Literally, fuck is wrong with this nigga? Geneva, this your mans, bro? This your mans? That's crazy.
And Paco shows up, giving Beck a book. He reveals that Joe hides things in his ceiling. She finds all the stuff Joe stole all this time, and finds out that he killed Benji and Peach. She locked herself in the bathroom. When she tries to leave, Joe knocks her out, and she wakes up in the book cage. So Joe locked Beck in a cage, you know, the normal thing to do. Yeah! He tells her that all what he's done was for her, and she can't handle it.
Tell me.
He tells his coworker not to go in the basement. Paco's mom got beat up by the evil stepdad. She got sent to the hospital. Shit. He tells Beck that he killed Benji. Joe set up the cage for Beck. Paco tried to steal a gun from the bookstore because he wants to kill his stepdad. Joe meets with Beck's friends. In secret, he used her phone to lie about going on a writing trip. Joe talks about his day to his girlfriend in a cage. She tries to flirt with him to let her out. She ends up using a typewriter in the cage, writing about her experience with romance. Joe visits Paco's mom in the hospital. The PI that is investigating Peach's murder talks to Joe. Joe talks to Beck, telling her that he's about to get caught. She tells him to figure out a way to help Paco. Paco hits his stepdad with a bat and runs. Joe sees what's about to happen and stabs him in the throat. Joe tells Paco to lie and says that he'll get rid of the body. Joe looks at Beck's writing. She gives Joe the idea that they should frame Dr. Nikki for everything he's done. Paco sees Beck trying to escape but is too scared to let her out. Joe escaped from the cage. Beck knocked him down. Then Beck is grabbed from behind. Joe published Beck's book about the crazy therapist. He framed Dr. Nikki for the murder of Beck. Paco's family is moving away. Paco says bye to Joe. We see a girl walking into the bookstore. Joe does the exact same thing he did in the first episode, until it's revealed it's Candace. It's good. I recommend actually watching this show. Season 1, 2, and 3 are great, and Season 4 honestly isn't that bad either. But honestly, I recommend watching the show if you haven't seen it. Maybe you like romance, drama, and some action. I recommend it.
So you telling me this nigga got 4 seasons worth of stalking a bitch? That's crazy.